Hi, this is a foreigner in the Philippines. I was going to talk about one of what seems to be a major point of disagreement or dissatisfaction or problem area between Filipina and foreigner marriages, unions, boyfriend, girlfriend, whichever the relationship is. And one of the major points of dissatisfaction, of inability to reconcile, is the amount of respect, love, dedication, loyalty the Filipina has to her family. That's why I titled this particular talk from the 60s or 70s hit song, "He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother." You may remember that. Maybe you're not old enough for that, but that was a very big song at one time. And if you are involved, if you are heavily committed to a woman who is a Filipina, then understand this. And I'm not saying anything new. You are also married to her family. This is a fact. Now, you can oppose this, you can remain on the outside, you can be forever the foreigner, or you can perhaps find some greater degree of happiness by seeking to understand why it is that Filipinos feel this degree. Well, actually, it's not that hard to understand. Any time that I've been presented, and this was early on in my marriage to Beth, perhaps a brother would come and would need help. I remember something that made a great impact on me at one time. Someone, not even a family member, came and needed help. And I'd been kind of conditioned, a third-party conditioning, of thinking that, they're just asking for money because they think that I'm rich, and I'm not, which is true. And so I would oppose that. Well, just say no. Stand in front of the mirror. This was actually one of my little sayings. You better start standing in front of the bathroom mirror and practice saying no. Well, it's not so easy as that. And Beth brought that home to me this particular time, because she said, I find that difficult because I know how hard it is for him, her, to ask for help. Now, contrary to what people may think, Filipinos don't easily come and ask for help. It's not something that's so easily. That person that is asking you for help more than likely desperately needs that help. Now, I've had experience with Filipinos who have made it and are now wealthy, and they lose that understanding of how hard it is to ask for help, and they hold their riches to their chest and refuse to give help easily. They can refuse that easily, and actually that's a shame, because losing the understanding of how someone else can need help and may be in trouble is a great loss to my mind. Well, my wife made that point to me, and I never forgot it. And I've listened to other Americans or British or whoever, it doesn't matter, other foreigners, other expats, and I've heard how they have various ways of dealing with that. For instance, one of them would say, never let your Filipino wife know how much money you've got. Don't allow her to know these things. And I'm listening to that and thinking, and they advocate the use of lies, deceit, all kinds of subterfuge in my mind about keeping this important aspect secret. And I think that that is sad, because now they've changed, or maybe they haven't changed, maybe they were always liars and subterfuges, if that's a word. Maybe they were always like that, and they were always secretive, or maybe they're one of what I call the walking wounded, and they've gone through a terrible betrayal and divorce, where they lost everything in an unfair divorce settlement in their mind, and now they've decided that everybody's out to get them, and they're not going to be got. So I think of them as being the walking wounded, because they are carrying the damage that they suffered on a day-to-day basis, and not allowing any open heart surgery to occur. In other words, there'll be no healing. There is no healing when you go that route. So what you have to do, surely, is to work out a way that you can look at the person who is in need of help and find a way that you can give them help in a way that's acceptable to you and acceptable to them. And that's a big challenge. Now, for me and my family, who I have a great respect for my family, my extended family here, I have a great respect for them, because we were able to work out a way in which I could honestly say, I don't have that to give, or can we give it in this way? We need something done. Can you help us? So they come in. I may have to give whatever it is that I'm giving in advance. I mean, for instance, if a person says that they'll come in and do so many hours work at such and such a rate, then we pay them in advance. That solves their immediate problem, and then at some point in the future, they will come and they will do their duty. And I've always found that they do. In fact, me with my Western partial walking wounded attitude is, I've said, yes, but are they going to do that? Can we assume? Because I've been told by others how they've been cheated. So I'm thinking, well, maybe I'm just being naive here. Well, and in their own time, I would let them do what they were supposed to do. And if, for instance, it was a case of we'd exchanged, say, for 3 days' work, then I would wait and I would see whether they were going to do 3 days' work. And it seemed to me at the time, the first few times, amazingly, that in 2 days they did what I considered was 3 days' work. You know, my brother would come in and just work so incredibly hard, obviously in appreciation of the advance payment that he had been given in order to meet his, whatever it was, emergency or crisis. And he'd done that. He'd come to me for help, or us, Beth and I, and we'd been able to give it. And then he came, and after 2 days, I would say, Beth, tell him the debt is paid. Not 3 days. Don't do another. That wouldn't be fair. And so we established between us a trust. They would know that if we said that we didn't have that money to give, they would know it was true. So there was some degree of change, some degree of trust there that was part foreigner, part Filipino. We now know each other, trust each other, love each other, which is the way that it should go. So one of the reasons that I was able to do that was that when I was thinking, this is Beth's brother, I would think to myself, how could I suggest that she should say no to her brother? Because if it was my brother, who I lost some years ago, he died early, boy, I would give anything anything to have him knock at the door and ask for my help right now. And I can't. So, he ain't heavy. He's my brother. That's how I think of it. And it's worked for me. Whether it would work for you, I don't know. But maybe you can try it. So this is a foreigner in the Philippines. And at this time, I wish you a Merry Christmas as well. Bye for now.